gave some thought to it and came up with the fourth dimension. So in leading into that, I'm going to mention various pages in the big book in 12 and kind of bring it to it, but fourth dimension is where I'm going. The selected reading I wanted to start with is, and there is a solution, but just prior to that I want to mention one of my favorite paragraphs in the 12 and 12 is at the end of step 1, where it says, for practicing AA's remaining 11th step means the adoption of attitudes and actions that almost no alcoholic who is still drinking can dream of taking. Who wishes to be rigorously honest and tolerant? Who wants to confess his faults to another and make restitution for harm done? And there's more that we have to do. But what that brings us to is we've been approached by those in whom the problem has been solved. We've come to the point where we may not want to, or we're willing to. And there was nothing left for us but to pick up the simple kit of spiritual tools laid at our feet. We have found much of heaven, and we have been rocketed into a fourth dimension of existence of which we had not even dreamed. So he doesn't really define fourth dimension, but I think we all kind of have an idea of first dimension, one-dimensional flat, the page, and I don't know what second is. Third dimension would be with depth, so it would look like it's there, but here we're presented with a fourth dimension. So one of the things that Bill refrained from was repeating words, which we've talked about a lot in the defects and shortcomings on 54, in the step 6 and 7. But there is a word he uses twice, the same word. And it's in A Vision for You when he's talking about on a dismal afternoon, he paced a hotel lobby wondering how his bill was to be paid. At one end of the room stood a glass-covered directory of local churches. Down the lobby, a door opened to an attractive bar. He could see the gay crowd inside. Now, at that point in the 30s, I don't think gay meant gay and lesbian. It was happy and joyous. So he could see the gay crowd inside, which was representative of those who were drinking alcohol. But then he uses the word gay again related to AA when he says on page 160, many a man, yet dazed from his hospital experience, has stepped over the threshold of that home into a freedom. Many an alcoholic who entered there came away with an answer. He succumbed to the gay crowd inside. So now we're talking about an AA meeting being gay. So, like I say, unusual for him to use the same word twice. But I don't think I heard this person speak. I think somebody told me what this speaker said, but he was the author of one of the stories in the third dimension. I think it was Physician, Heal Thyself. And what he did in his talk was he took the promises and he prefaced each statement with whenever I take a drink. So I really could relate to it. Whenever I take a drink, I do not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. When I take a drink, I comprehend the word serenity, and I know peace. When I take a drink, no matter how far down the scale I've gone, I see how my experience can benefit others. When I take a drink, the feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. When I take a drink, I lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in my fellows. When I take a drink, self-seeking slips away. My whole attitude, and outlook, I'm going to stop reading here in a minute. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. When I drink, my whole fear of people and economic insecurity leaves us. I intuitively know how to handle situations that used to baffle me. So it looks like this fourth dimension we have a word gay, which on the third dimension means alcohol related. It's a party at the bar. And then once we get into AA, this same word, gay, in this fourth dimension is the happy and joyous crowd inside. And the promises that we receive when we work the steps in AA are the same promises we were seeking when we were in this third dimension looking to alcohol to solve our problems. So just to tie all that in with one line that came up when it was to my attention when he was reading was the capacity to be honest. We talked a lot about that yesterday about, why do some get it and some don't, You got to pick up that pick of tools, you got to enter this fourth dimension, and I think it does take a capacity to be honest. And why some people do not have that capacity or ability or willingness or desire, I don't know. And I didn't have it before I got to this fourth dimension. So, on that note, I'm going to ask Bill to start.
All right, nice. Good morning. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, Bill. Julie. Hey, Bill.